Hey, Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas. Who the hell is this guy? Sir. And you are? Oh, I'm drunk Panthers, Arizona Cardinals. That game was drunk, and I'm drunk, and I'm that game. The Panthers were actually up 21-3 at one point, and third short, just an overpass to some random white wide receiver. And then we went to overtime. And then Kyler Murray did what Kyler Murray does. And then Chuba Hubbard ran for his second game-winning touchdown. And it was just pandemonium when it didn't have to be pandemonium. But yeah, the game was just mental. But anyways, the Panthers doubled their win total from last year. So it's good. It's good. I can't tell if you're happy or sad. I want to watch a Panthers post. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah for those who do celebrate. They're happening on the same day, actually. But everybody's happy right now if you're watching this channel because the Carolina Panthers have now won their fourth game of the season. And I think they could add more to the total. They beat the Arizona Cardinals 36-30 against a defense that was holding teams to just 17.6 points a game since week 7. And so Dave Canales and company, as he did with Tampa Bay last year, just really started to turn it on late in the season. Before I talk about the stats, before I talk about the performances, I got to talk about the crowd because this was the same crowd that showed up to the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers where when Adam Thielen scored what should have been, what could have been the game-winning touchdown before the Tampa Bay Buccaneers forced overtime. We lost. The crowd was, it felt, I'm not saying 2015-esque, but it was loud. It was raucous. It was something that we have not experienced or watched on TV, in my case, at Bank of America Stadium for quite some time. And this time, when Chuba Hubbard waltzed into the end zone after his go-ahead touchdown win, power win, just basically encapsulates his year thus far as a leader on this team. Just everything, his growth as a player. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but the fact that the crowd, it felt like the bank was rumbling, and it didn't seem like there were any traveling Arizona Cardinal fans who were infiltrating, which, hey, it happens everywhere. If you guys saw the college football playoffs, the freaking horseshoe at Ohio State was taken over by Tennessee Vols fans, and so it's possible anywhere. It's not unique to the Carolina Panthers with Bank of America Stadium. Traveling fans, it just happens. But this time around with the Arizona Cardinals, it just wasn't a thing, and the entire bank was Carolina Panther fans, and the place was rocking. They have it on ESPN now. They don't have any play-by-play or anything. They just have Chuba Hubbard waltzing into, powering through two would-be tacklers and then make it to the end zone for the would-be touchdown, go-ahead touchdown for the Panthers in overtime, and the place went crazy. And that's a sound that just has been foreign with the Carolina Panthers last couple years since David Tepper bought the team, because there was nothing of magnitude, and it says something, the fact that this team, with 3 wins late in this season, with only 3 more games or 2 more games to go, it still feels like they're playing for something. And that says something. They're playing for, obviously, roster spots. They're playing for the coach. They're playing for the GM. They're playing for the team. One thing they said in the locker room after, Chuba Hubbard said he loves this team. Like, I understand they paid him a lot. They drafted him in the 4th, 5th round. They stuck with him when they could have traded him. They could have cut him to do whatever they wanted. You see where Miles Sanders went and all these other running backs that have been paired up with Chuba Hubbard. Even yours truly. There was a point where I wasn't sure if he could be a guy, but here he is. But saying out there that he loves this team. And that's what we need. We need guys who want to wear processed blue, black, and silver, and sometimes white. Most of the times white with jerseys. That's who you want on the team. Back to Chuba Hubbard. I got to give my Canadian the flowers, because I'll be honest, I doubted him. I doubted the way he played in his rookie year. Even in his second year, I thought he ran too high. I thought he ran a little weak, hesitant, thought too much. The first tackler always got him down, and that run to win the game encapsulated his progress thus far as a pro. He's a leader on this team. He's a vocal leader on this team. He's a play-by-example leader of this team. And the fact that he broke 2 tackles, 2 guys trying to get him, he broke through them. He parted those mother effers like it was the Red Sea, and he just waltzed into the end zone, Deion Sanders style, high-stepping. Travis Hunter may be on this team, but like high-stepping into the end zone, and it just shows that he is in a great place right now. And I think that's sustainable, because he's not a Jahmyr Gibbs type who just kind of breaks a seam and just kind of turns on the jets and beats everybody in that way. He is a workhorse. He beats you down. He chops wood, and he's a chipper. He just chips, and then when it comes to the point where you just don't want to do it anymore, aka overtime, he makes you pay for it. Hey, you like Panthers Post? Panthers Post is pretty fun. Do you like the NFL draft? I love the NFL draft. I am an underwear Olympics nerd when it comes to the combine. So if you want exclusive videos, if you want early access to videos, if you want live chats with yours truly, therapy sessions, specifically if you are a Carolina Panthers fan and you don't even live in the Carolinas like yours truly, you don't even live in America like yours truly, if you're out in Australia, you're out in Germany, you're out in England, Scotland, wherever. If you're not in the Carolinas, you're in Oklahoma, you're in Alabama, like some members are, for less than $2 American, less than a cup of coffee. That's like 10 cents a day, not even. You can be a Carolina Panthers Post member. You get early access to videos, you get exclusive videos, and you get live chats, and you also get some contest giveaways. Have some of my clothes, better Panthers merch. You can do it. Just on the desktop, it says subscribe, it says join, do that, and then you're in a club. Bryce Young, since that career high, 4 turnovers, 3 fumbles, 1 interception. He had a clean game, 17 for 26, 158 yards, 6.1 average, 2 touchdowns in the air, 1 on the ground, no interceptions, 107.5 quarterback rating. He had 68 yards rushing, and he did it with ease. Like, it was weird. Like, he was so, kind of reminded me of Le'Veon Bell a little bit, just how free and easy he was in the open field right there, reading blocks, not trying to do too much, but also laying the boom at the same time. Like, yes, the Dallas game was a really shit game. It was a really bad game. He had fumbles and he couldn't recover, and you can't recover in situations like that. The Carolina Panthers won the turnover battle against the Cardinals, and that's why they won. And Bryce Young responded again. As I've said before in previous episodes, I feel like when Bryce throws the interception or has a bad game or whatever, I think it's nothing. He's like a duck. It just flows off his back, because nothing can be more embarrassing than being the first overall pick who your team that you're currently on gave up all these assets to get, and then you get benched after 2 games in just your second season. I'm not talking about 5 years of like, hey man, like a Daniel Jones, like we gave you enough time, blah, blah, blah. It's just not working out. We got to let you go. No, this is after 1 season, a shitty season, and then 2 games in, and they drop you for a 37-year-old quarterback. And nothing gets more embarrassing than that. So I think, and also I just think he's always had a very cool head, great head on his shoulders. But it's almost as if that Dallas game never happened. Like, it says 158 yards, but the stats do not show you the level of difficulty. They don't have a difficulty level on some of these throws that he was throwing. Like, dude was getting laid out, threading the needle, triple capital A anticipation, right in the middle of the field for only a place where the wide receiver can get it. His teardrop pass to David Moore, who is arguably one of the, besides Adam Thielen, one of the more reliable wide receivers on this team, and has been clutch for the Panthers. That was a thing of beauty. That one pass to Jalen Coker, who's an undrafted free agent rookie, he's going to figure things out. If he just dragged that back foot, that front foot, if he just dragged that instead of just step it like 1.5 meters, that would have been one of the catches of the year in the NFL, not just with the Carolina Panthers. But Bryce Young was threading it today. He was on it. He was climbing that pocket like nobody's business. That's something that I wanted to see out of week 1. It wasn't happening, but now that guy, it's like second nature now. He is comfortable with his offensive line, comfortable climbing up the pocket and just finding the right receivers, making the right moves. Dave Canales always talks about, wins on every play. And if it means throwing it away, that's key. Just, again, finding guys open. And this is without Xavier Lee yet. But just making the smart play, not trying to do too much, not throwing into triple coverage like he did against Dallas. I think he was trying to just overplay in the situation. But him and Adam Thielen had a great rapport when, in terms of receiving, Adam Thielen led all receivers with 43 yards and that touchdown. He looks like he's having fun playing football, and that's great to see when you see the veterans, having a good time, because they're leaders. And if they're having a shitty time, everyone's having a poopy time. Tommy Tremble, again, I believe in this guy. I don't think he should be off this team. I think he's a clutch player on this squad. And again, David Moore, also clutch with 1 touchdown himself, 3 targets, 2 catches. Everyone's just catching the ball, doing that thing. And again, this is without Xavier Lee yet. This is without their supposed to be wide receiver 1 at some point in the future. And I thought they responded great. I thought they responded well. I thought Bryce Young was awesome. And just on the ground, as I mentioned before, just reading his blocks, showing that subtle athleticism, laying the boom when he had to. And he was a genuine threat on the run. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if this is communications with Cam Newton. But the fact that, and I know it's a very generic sign, but the fact that it's in Carolina, the fact that guys, including Bryce and everybody else, are doing that for a first down in the house that Cam Newton partially built, after Steve Smith and Julius Peppers and Sam Mills. It hits me on an emotional level that it seems like he's carrying on that legacy of Cam when he does stuff like that. It seems like he knows. It seems like he knows the culture, and that's something you don't really see in football that much. You see it in soccer where they understand the culture, they understand what they got to do, they understand. They have a very established culture and things that make its history what it is. And at least with the Carolina Panthers, it's a very young history. It's only 25 years old, 30 years old, excuse me. The fact that he's doing this thing that Cam Newton did that we have such fond memories for, it's like the next chapter. It's like the passing of the torch. And maybe I'm reading too much into it because I'm a fan of emotionally connected to Cam Newton, but it's great to see. Bryce played great, and I'm excited for this guy. And I already said before in previous episodes that Dave Canales said that he's going to start the rest of the year. And so the last 2 road games, it's going to be him. And I'm only expecting great things. And it makes the Panthers in an advantageous spot. Currently in the draft, they're picking 7th. So unfortunately, that takes you out of the Abdul Carter, Mason Graham sweepstakes. And I think the Panthers win another game. And so they could be moving further down. And that could be Tet McMillan area. That could be Kyle Kennard area. That could be another defensive lineman that I haven't. Well, could be Will Johnson. Could be Will Johnson territory potentially. Could be left tackle territory. I don't know. You never know. They keep Quanti can move to guard. You never know what's going to happen. But I think the team is pretty set on that in that position. But it could go defense. Maybe the safety out of Georgia. I haven't really scouted him that much, but Panthers in a good spot right now, despite the fact they're moving down in the order, even though I would love Abdul Carter. And I wouldn't rule out trading up. I wouldn't rule out trading up to try to get somebody like a game record like Abdul Carter or Mason Graham for the Carolina Panthers, seeing the fact that our GM is a friggin' linebacker, holds the Super Bowl record for most tackles in the Super Bowl. But I thought Bryce played awesome. Chuba played awesome. The defense, they did what they had to do. Like James Conner, it was a huge favor that he was out of this game at some point because it was a completely different Arizona Cardinals team when they had to go all on Kyler Murray's back. As I said before in the live chat, which unless you remember, you didn't see it. If you remember, you saw it. I love Kyler Murray. He's my Korean quarterback. Rare, like never happens. Good to play for Team Korea in the U.S. For the U.S. for touch football in the Olympics, but he just doesn't strike me as a leader. Doesn't strike me as a guy you can be like, hey guys, just step on my shoulders and I'm going to carry you. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy. No disrespect. Like, I think he's amazingly talented. But James Conner, 117 yards rushing. Like, the man was averaged 7 yards a carry. At one point, I think in the first half, it was 9 yards a carry. Just stupid. So, again, going back to the draft, I think this team needs to build the rush defense because you can see when they're not playing against blue chip guys, because when James Conner was out, you're dealing with Michael Carter and Greg Dortch and other running backs that are random. Dallas, the Panthers defense could do okay because you don't have a lot of blue chip guys on that defense. They're serviceable. They're Jero Evero guys. But when they're up against a blue chip player, it just doesn't work out. It really doesn't. Or at least someone who's maybe not a blue chip, like light blue chip player, it just doesn't work out. So that's why you need to build on the defensive line in the draft and in free agency. But yeah, it was a big favor that James Conner was out at one point because that's when the Panthers their defense could shut down Kyler Murray because, again, you still got J.C. Horn in terms of their wide receivers, like Marvin Harrison Jr., 39 yards passing. James Conner was a leading receiver at 49 yards. So I thought the defense did what it had to do. And especially in precarious positions, overtime, 2-minute drill, all that stuff. I think they did. I think they did well because I did not expect this to be a shootout, but it became one because it seems like both defenses just weren't stopping anybody. But they stopped them when it mattered. When it came to a couple 3-and-outs there, some turnovers as well. Xavier Woods picking up Kyler Murray, who thought probably he was throwing away a ball, but Xavier Woods made him pay for that. Special teams is also clutch as well. But all in all, Carolina Panthers win the turnover battle. No big mistakes at all from Bryce Young or Chuba Hubbard. I think they're bad games, whether it was Dallas or it was that one moment against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they came out and they learned from it, and that's why they're leaders on this team. And I think every moment, and they talked to Mark Schler talked about it on the TV broadcast, every moment from here on out for the rest of the year is a learning moment. And the hope is that they they tack onto this and they build onto it for next year. And then next year with a revamped defense, so maybe a wide receiver one, whether that's a T. Higgins or Tech McMillan or Luther out of Missouri, like they can learn from this. And it seems like Bryce is learning a lot. And it seems like it is paying off on the field. And I'm just happy to see it. I am truly, truly happy to see it. I am proud to wear Carolina Panthers stuff out there. I hope you are too. And yeah, let me know in the comments below how you feel about the win, how you feel about the future, how you feel about the next 2 games. 1 win, 2 wins, 0? Let me know. See you guys soon.